my teaser, my little promo for today, for my little 7:45, and we're running just a few minutes late here, is the claim that as you turn 30 or right before you turn 30, that everything feels different. I remember that when I turned 30, I remember all the hype, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
So going back a number of years when I turned 30, I remember the hype surrounding turning 30, but I don't think I felt any great shakes. But I was reading a story about someone named Michelle, who's 30, and then Zara, who's 29, and they have a podcast called Shameless. And they recently discussed this whole 30 situation, that something happens, and it's unavoidable. It is weird, as they call it, that something happens right before you turn 30 and when you turn 30, that everything is different.
Yeah.
They call it the late 20s switch. And I remember hearing that I was supposed to feel different, but I don't recall feeling different, or, having, my world rocked. Oh my God, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm now 30. And I guess the same thing could be said for, 40s as well. But is this like a new enhanced, like a Generation Z millennial thing?
No.
That it's intensified? It's like hyper 30 now?
Maybe it's just talked about differently, but I remember 30 being a big birthday benchmark year.
So the Zara, who's 29, that turns 30 next month, she was saying everything feels different. Is this just in your, what feels, I want to go to phones on this. Let's grab a couple of calls on this. 800. Is this the real deal, or is this manufactured? I remember when I turned 30 that I was supposed to feel something, or there was this big awareness. Oh, you're turning 30. Oh, my God. But I didn't feel it. Nothing changed. And then when I turned 40, oh, my God, something like depression is supposed to set in. You're turning 40. Same thing. And then, oh, you're turning 50. Come on.
I think the decades are big birthdays, but 30 just hits different.
Yes or no? Is there a 30 switch? Agree or disagree? 800-990-1047. Is this just manufactured garbage, or have things changed a little bit? I'll tell you right now, there's no doubt about it that Generation Z is different than when I was the age, and all my friends and contemporaries were the age of where Generation Z is now. There's a whole different ballgame. There's an absolute blasé attitude for many, not all, but I think social media has corrupted. I think social media has had an awful net negative effect on society as a whole. And I think the brunt of that has gone to Generation Z, then millennial. So the question is, do you agree before you turn 30 or right when you turn 30, everything feels different? And is turning 30 today different than when I turned 30 years ago?
Years and years.
Years
Quite
ago.
a long time ago.
And listen, I remember that when I got married to Michelle, I was 27.
Yeah.
So and when we had kids, I think I was 34. We waited about 7 years before we had kids. All right, let's go to phones on this. Is this a thing, or is this just manufactured hype crap? 30, turning 30. Does everything change? 800-990-1047. I see guys are on hold already. I need the women to call in on this as well. So I need to hear from females, because the two women, Michelle 30 and Zara 29, they're the ones talking about this late 20s switch. 800-990-1047. 1047. 800-990-1047 is how you get in. All right, phones are ringing. They're screening the calls. 800-990-1047. About to be 30 next month, and everything is starting to feel different. Yeah. So Michelle on this podcast said that she was living out the lyrics from Taylor Swift's song Florida, in which she sings, "My friends all smell of weed or little babies."
Yeah. You know what? At 30, you really have two kinds of friends.
Yeah. And then she went further and explained that she feels like her friends are being divided into two groups. Those who are having babies, so they smell like babies, and getting married, and others that are in a different phase. You know, they're partying, they're traveling to Europe, they're smoking a lot of weed. All right, phones have blown up on this. Let me grab Ron in Largo. Ron, you're on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hi, Ron.
All right, good morning, guys.
Yes.
Love the show. Long-time listener. I
Thanks.
was actually calling in regards to phones in the workplace.
Yep. Oh, wait a second. Hey, guys, so what are we screening here? What are we screening? This is we've moved on.
Ron might have been on hold for a while.
Ron, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up here.
Yeah, anyways, my time in the airline industry, we allowed the ramp agents, the ground crew, to access their phones until it was time to go out and handle the flights.
Yeah.
You know, because, we got to be focused on what we're doing out there. You know, we can't put lives at risk. So we didn't play games with that. Couldn't really enforce it, by taking them from them. They were just reminded not to bring them when they went outside to the flight.
All good
Ron.
points, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. You know what? I'm going to do when we want more Ron.
Especially
More Ron.
Yeah.
More Ron.
Has anybody ever called you a moron?
No.
Ron?
If Ron is kind of quiet and scarce, has anyone ever said to you, you know what? Moron.
That's what we need around here.
Moron.
We just don't have enough.
Only the females would say that. More, Ron.
Yeah,
More.
I bet they did, moron.
Thanks, Ron. Have a great
See
one.
you, moron.
It opens up a line for what we're actually talking about now.
All right.
800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Is there a 30 switch where everything feels different? Lois in Brooksville. Lois, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi, Lois.
Hello.
Yeah.
I remember when I turned 30 years ago, and then I didn't feel any switch. I was too busy being a mother and a wife. I loved my 30s. I can tell you that turning 60 is the pick because everything is falling all apart.
Oh, man. So no problem with the 30 switch, but you've got a 60 switch and everything's falling apart?
It is. I wish I was like a vehicle because I could put new parts in.
Well, they can do that,
I mean, yeah, it depends on the parts, but
you can go get yourself a boob job if you want, Lois. They can put some new parts in.
great.
You have a good day.
Lois,
Lois.
you have a great day. Taylor in Tampa. Taylor, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi, Taylor. Welcome. Taylor, you're up. Go ahead, Taylor.
So I had my kids when I was 34 and 36,
Yep.
and I kid you not, I feel like the oldest lady ever, and I'm only 48 now.
Hold on, you at 48, you feel like the oldest lady ever?
I mean, I'm not the oldest lady ever,
Well, obviously.
but I feel like it because I work and I have to be there for my kids, and I have to do it all.
Any age, right? You still have to do it all.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Taylor. Whatever you do, Taylor, just it's all in your head. Everything's in your head.
Everything's all in my head.
Taylor, you having a rough time? I mean, are you able to?
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I just laugh every day about my life. I laugh every day.
How old did you say you are? You're 40.
48.
And how old are your kids?
They're 12 and 14, and they're amazing.
Gotcha.
It's not too late to put them up for adoption, is it?
Taylor,
No, not putting them up for adoption.
It's not too late, though.
I will keep them.
Taylor, do you work? It sounds like you might be on the way to work.
I actually travel every week out of town. I go to Oviedo by UCF every single week.
Gotcha. Thank you, Taylor. Have a great weekend, okay?
Would you lose a bet?
Thank you.
Ugh.
right.
Thank you
opens up a line, 800-990-1047. Did things change for you at 30? Manny in Tarpon on the MJ Morning Show. Hi, Manny.
Good morning. Long-time listener.
Manny, always great to have you on. I think you've called before. Go ahead.
I have. Yeah. No, I think it's just for the women particularly, they have that biological clock, where things might be switching on them. But me, I'm in my 60s, and I haven't felt anything different. I actually feel like I'm 30.
Yeah, listen, I'm getting older, obviously, and I feel like I'm 30. I do. I am more active. I think I'm in better shape now than when I was 30, to be quite honest.
No, but he brings up a good point. Yeah. The biological clock conversation women start having around 30, where it's something maybe you don't think about in your 20s.
Yeah, well, listen, women go through menopause, which I always thought was weird because it starts with men.
Like, why isn't it womenopause?
Yeah, shouldn't men have menopause, right? Yeah, but
I'm barely hitting puberty.
Okay,
I don't know if that's the case.
Thanks, Manny. Jennifer, a couple more calls, guys. Jennifer and Valrico. Jen, you're on the MJ Morning Show. The question is, two women, a 30-year-old and a 29-year-old, saying that everything feels different at 30, or just before you turn 30, a switch goes off and everything feels different. Do you agree, yes or no, Jen?
No, I don't think things change, but people treat you differently. Once I turned 30 and I was no longer in my 20s, it was like I was now a mature adult instead of, too youthful and not knowing what I was talking about.
Yeah, she's right. That was a big change for 30 with me. It was that you no longer have the excuse of being young. All this dumb crap I was doing on the radio, my dad's like, you're 30 now. You should really stop doing that. You get critiqued differently.
Jennifer, how old are you now?
I am 52 now.
Gotcha. Jennifer, thank you for listening. I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
Tracy, Clearwater, MJ Morning Show. Tracy, how old are you now?
I am 41.
41 years old, so you're 11 years past 30. Was there some magic switch that flicked at 29 going to 30?
Honestly, no. I mean, well, I'll say 30s were honestly the best years for me. I felt great, and I was doing my own thing. I didn't have kids till I was 38, so later on. So I really enjoyed my 30s. I mean, I guess I thought that was when I blossomed, became my own person, more, and, got to do more, things on my own and stuff. I think I grew as a person more at 30.
Was there a shift, or what happened when you turned to 40 and you're just into 40 because you're 41?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely was a shift. I just felt like, I don't know, I did change. I did. I guess because I'm a mom now too, and the age on me, I was like, I wish I would have maybe had my kids a little bit earlier, because, running around with a toddler at the age of 41, and working full time and everything else, can be exhausting, as it can be for everybody, But, I mean, I think I felt a little change at this age now, but 30s not so much as a negative thing. 30s was a good thing.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, I'm going to grab one more call. Have a great weekend, Tracy. Casey in Sarasota, I'm going to give you the final say on right before you turn 30 or at 30, everything feels different, yes or no? Oh, I got to push the button over here.
That helps.
I guess I missed the button. Go ahead, Casey.
I mean, first of all, let's be honest here, MJ. To be on the phone live with you on a Friday morning like this, I have stage fright. People call in and just start talking like no big deal. Come on, I'm shaking out of my boots right now.
Okay, Casey, listen, there's nothing to be shaking about. There's nothing to be nervous about. Casey, do you talk to friends and acquaintances or relatives? Do you talk to people all the time?
All the time, absolutely.
Well, look, I'm another one of those folks. That's it. Just Fester and me, we're just nothing to be afraid, nothing to be nervous about, nothing to shake about.
Listen, I totally get it. You guys are family. I'm 43 years young at this point. I was listening to you guys when I was 20 years young, going through ultrasound school, living on Fruitsby Downs every morning.
Wow.
It was such a delight driving to work, listening to you guys. But listen, 43 years young. Listen, MJ, you said it yourself. You feel young. It's all just a number. You got to stay active. It's all part of the story. Today's the present. How are we going to enjoy it? I mean, life is life. You want to be married. You want to have children. Make it work in a healthy, positive manner. Get out there and walk with the weighted vest. Whatever.
That's what I'm doing. I'm at 20 pounds now with the weighted vest, and I'm getting used to that. So I'm going up to. I'm going to go to 30 pounds starting this weekend. I got to go get the other plates, the bigger plates to put in.
Okay.
That's what I heard. I mean, I listen every single morning, and
Awesome.
if I can't listen live, I'm on the podcast. I already know all this. You're walking all. You're upping your plate. So I mean, it's what you put out to the universe is what you're going to get back. It's the law of attraction.
Now, Casey, do you think that the younger generation, you think the Generation Zs and the Millennials, do you think that psychologically they've become a little more warped and there's just a greater sensitivity, or people are looking to have problems more these days?
Oh my goodness, 100%. And if people don't agree with that, I don't know. Everything's so judged and criticized down to, you put premium or unleaded in your car. You got an electric car. Who cares?
Because I've had employees, for instance, or I should say employers. I've had friends that are employers who hire in whatever business they're in. And I've heard just constantly for years now that a lot of the younger kids, the Generation Z, the late teens or the early 20s or even into the millennials, that of course there are some great people in these demographics that do a great job. They're diligent, they're focused, they care, but there seems to be a big number that don't care, and there's a blasé attitude, and that I don't know whether it was social media that did this. I'm sure it has a part, but there's a whole different it's a different drive and a different connection.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I feel like there's just a total level of disrespect anymore, entitlement, selfishness, who's got whatever's better. I mean, we're all humans in this world. You don't know who's going through what, who's just lost who's getting to go do, you don't know. You don't know what people's stories are. But I absolutely agree that there's just a lot of hype and hip on, the social media, who's got the better picture, who's got the better body, who's got this, who's got that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think we should all just smile, wave, bring joy to each other. They call them bucket fillers or joy suckers. I consider myself a bucket filler.
Oh, so a bucket filler or a joy sucker.
Right.
And do you find yourself avoiding the joy suckers and like writing them out of your script?
Oh, absolutely. Why would you even deal with it? Sometimes they're called well, no, I won't say that on the air. Nipple suckers, but joy suckers.
Oh my God.
All right, Casey, great to have you on. And Casey, are you nervous still, or did we calm your fears?
I feel like I'm just sitting and having breakfast with you and Fester at the local diner. I mean, we're all good now.
Yeah, I was about to
I broke
say.
this fear.
I mean,
honestly, yeah. I mean, let's go. Fester, I think you're genius for hitting up the hotel buffets.
Thank you.
They're
Thank you very much.
unbelievable. There's a place here in Sarasota, Florida called Yoder's. And
We've been there dozens of times.
Yeah, we know the Yoders.
Yeah, we've been there dozens of
I
times.
haven't been there in a while, but I love Yoder's Amish restaurant.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
All right.
Everything's just so fresh.
It is.
Got to get down here.
Yep.
I'm going to go to the hotel buffet.
Casey, thanks for checking in, and thanks for being a longtime
Fantastic.
fan. I'm glad you phoned in.
Absolutely. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Look at
For
that.
somebody so nervous to call in, she went on for a minute, boy.
Yeah, we had
She got over that pretty quickly.
We had a good relationship with the Yoders down there, and we,
Yeah.
we kind of drifted a little bit.
That's
but
all right.
I got to get back to the same guy who's still.
Yeah.
What was his name? Do you remember?
I don't.
But
the manager down there or the owner down there.
Is that on Fruitville? What road is that on? What on Yoders?
It's not on. It's
Bee Ridge or
Beneva?
Beneva, whatever.
It's down there.
Anyway, yeah, Yoder's high. Folks, if you're anywhere near Sarasota, stop in Yoder's. It is a great restaurant. They've got all these pies, like homemade pies. They have like specials of the week. So I highly recommend Yoder's, which is on
Bahia Vista.
Bahia Vista Street.
Yeah, Bahia Vista.
Yoder's Restaurant and Amish Village with a 4.7. You know what? That's erroneous. It's a 5.0 in my book.
Did I ever tell you what I did at Yoder's that got me side eye?
What? You started walking around at other people's table and taking their fried chicken off the plate?
No.
What?
We were friendly with the manager.
Yeah.
I went there once, had my wife with me, and he walked me to my table, and I said goodbye to him there. And then the server comes, and she says, "Oh, you must be pretty special if the manager walked you to the table." And I was like, "Well, yeah." I was like, "Not really." She goes, "Oh, how does he know you?" And I was like, "Well, I work on the radio." And then she goes, "Oh," without any emotion. I go,
Right.
"You probably don't have one of those." And she gave me a look.
Oh,
like,
because
she's Amish.
What, you assume she's Amish with
Yeah.
with no technology
I
or
was like,
something? Come on.
What do you mean? I go,
Yeah.
well, a radio. You don't have a radio, do you?
I don't think that at Yoder's Amish Village and Restaurant they adhere to some of the strict Amish beliefs and customs
Traditions and
from up in the Pennsylvania Dutch country or in Ohio.
She gave me a glaring eye. She goes, "I have a radio." I was like, "Oh, sorry, my apologies."